Welcome in, everyone, to the Season 2 finale of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zach Brown, and joining with me, as always, is former 410 Sprint Car crew chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. Dad, we have crowned all the champions in the motorsports that we cover. The Cup, we've got a little bit to unwind, let it all kind of play out with NASCAR, where we were able to see the NHRA championships this past weekend. Phenomenal drag racing. I think they saved the best for last in drag racing this weekend. It was a great year, motorsports overall. NHRA and Outlaws, I think, arguably some of the best racing we've seen out of those two series in a long time. I don't know, it's because the competitions is a lot better, and there's not just one or two drivers that are just going to go and win every single week. The Cup Series, I think overall was a pretty good year. It's probably still, again, too much road course racing, street racing. I think they're doing the right things, experimenting with new tracks, and next year we got a lot to look forward to. So let's go over real quick the championship in the NASCAR Cup Series. We predicted it. We were right. We've been saying it, and Joey Logano, a lot of people were not really picking Joey Logano, like he didn't really belong there, and we've been saying that's how he wins every single championship. Well, now he's a three-timer. He got in position at the end. He was the fastest car probably the fastest two cars at the end between him and Blaney. He was racing smart, and he was able to keep a big enough distance from Blaney, from him being able to track him down. Joey was not using up his equipment, and probably helped use up Blaney's equipment, and that's really what settled the championship.
Yeah, when Joey got in on the next round on the technicality, the first thing that came to both of our minds was he's going to win this damn championship. That's just a very Joey Logano type thing. It's like adversity and different scenarios seem to be his forte, whether it's new tracks, something changes on the car. It seems like he really steps up his game. And people could say what they want, whether it belongs in there or not. But, he went with how the rules are written. He's in and took advantage of, of his second chance and came out with the championship. So, the last four races, Team Penske was just on fire. There wasn't anybody going to beat one of those two teams. So only one that could beat them was the other one. So that's just how it goes. But all in all, it was a good season. It's kind of different. I do think they need to do some more tweaking of this car.
Yeah,
short tracks still suck. I don't know why they don't want to give them more horsepower. I don't. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why they don't want to give them more horsepower. I think that would make the racing better on the short tracks. It's going to wear the tires out quicker, and we found out tracks that wear the tires out, like the Spring Bristol race. It was a hell of a race. So, we'll see what they come up with. I don't think any major changes to the cars is going to happen, but we got just a couple months here, and they're going to be running the Clash up in North Carolina, which is going to be interesting.
I think. Well, we'll see how chilly it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's been pretty mild temperature. Sorry if anybody caught any of that. My son was starving. Apparently I starved him. 5 dinners wasn't enough for him. But yeah, so I think them with experimenting a bunch of different things, going back to Bowman Gray Stadium, bringing that back to life, bringing some roots racing back to NASCAR is the right move. They've got Rockingham with the Truck Series and Xfinity Series next year. Going to try to go to that. That's going to be really, really cool. I think it'll sell out if it's not already sold out. We actually have some bold predictions this year, and while I'm on the topic of Rockingham, one of my bold predictions is that the ratings and the crowd will be so significant at Rockingham, they will have no choice but to have a Cup race in 2026 at Rockingham.
Cool. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I hope it is. That Rockingham was always a neat track, and when NASCAR went through that massive growth, Rockingham they just couldn't hold the attendance. I mean, like Charlotte was up to 120,000 people. Now they're down to what, I don't know, 50.
55,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so Rockingham's probably in the 30s range somewhere. So Rockingham just couldn't compete with what NASCAR was trying to do, and that lasted I don't know 10 years or so. Now we're kind of getting back to a more normalized.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of things that are it makes it easier for people now, especially younger generation. You can stream things, and people are less prone to go into the stands, and they actually open a lot of campgrounds, and you see a lot more campers in certain areas of speedways. So there's also that. The fact of the matter is, people aren't going to spend that much money to go see a race. Really, that's why you love to see Martinsville always has great deals on tickets, and I don't need to sit at the start and finish line. 2 tickets were like $40 or whatever. I'm off of turn 3 and 4. You're going to see similar ticket prices at Rockingham. I've looked them up. $20-$30 to go see a race. That's not bad. You'll see people come in. Now, I get it. They have to make money because of all the sponsorship and all the stuff that they spend, but you're not going to sell out your tickets. It's one of those things. Like, you could raise the prices, but you're going to have less people go to, or lower the prices and then have a risk of not paying off what you need to. I still think it's worth it to have all the fan experience. Like NHRA seems to be, they always sell out, and they're not the cheapest tickets, but they do things right. So add more benefits to it to allow more in-track experiences and everything. Going into the Xfinity Series, we wrapped up the Cup Series Championship, the Xfinity Series fan favorite, and he was down and out of this race, and cautions fell his way. He had the fastest car, had some mistakes on the track on pit road, came back from a lap or maybe multiple laps down, got in position, and he ended up winning the championship. Justin Allgaier, the fan favorite of Xfinity, I think the garage favorite to win that. That was an incredible sight to see.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in any of the motorsports fans, garage drivers, were upset that Justin Allgaier won that thing. I do think Dale Jr. was probably way more excited than Justin Allgaier was for winning that thing.
Yeah,
he was so excited. I don't even know what the hell he said. He was all jacked up. That was pretty cool to see.
I need to go back and watch Junior's podcast from the week after. I wonder how many days it took for them to recover from that party that weekend. Yeah, that was awesome to see. That was the best race that weekend. There was just enough cautions and just enough restarts to make it interesting, and just the way it played out with where the championship they were all running in the top 10, and Allgaier was just mowing them down at the end. And to see him come back, and he nearly won the race. Riley Herbst ended up winning the race. He had the fastest car to win the race, Herbst. But that was something, and I think that had a lot to do with the transition from a evening into a nighttime race. And the Truck Series actually had a great race too. Cup Series, once again, and it ended okay, but overall it was the worst race of the 3 races of the Final Four weekend. It's what it's been the last couple years, and I telling you, it's because they don't transition enough into the nighttime. Start a little bit later, going to completely at nighttime, that might shake things up.
Yeah, and just the way the Cup cars are now, with all the simulation and virtual reality shit, and there's no curveball thrown to these guys. The cars with the lower horsepower, they rarely have any kind of engine failures. Outside of tire failures, the Cup guys, they don't crash. They don't have any major kind of issues other than something maybe in pit road, some kind of penalty that way. And there's not enough cautions until you get to the end when they start really racing hard. Then you might see some banging and things like that. It's kind of a boring race most of the time. And Phoenix is actually a relatively short race, so that was be a 500 miler. It'd be a snooze fest for 400 of them. So
yeah, Well, if they gave it to 400 miles, though, you got to think they would probably end under the lights, and that last
Yeah.
100 miles maybe would be pretty
Well, that's
exciting.
what the weather can be the biggest curveball to throw to these guys that you can't. You're not going to simulate. You don't know what it's going to happen, how the weather's going to affect those cars.
Yeah.
They can plan all they want. You got to build adjustability into it. Puts it more into. Whoops. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you disappear for a second. I think, I still think, I'm still very strong opinion on this, that they need to rotate facilities I would say every 2 years to where the championship is being run. I think that would add a lot more excitement and give certain facilities the chance to host that big type of event, like the Super Bowl. That goes to different cities and gives the cities a big boost in income, and it's a big economic boost for those cities. I think we've been talking about it. Tracks that can handle it, cities that can handle it. Las Vegas, Homestead's already done it, and obviously Phoenix. You can just rotate with those three. I'd be almost happy with. But you can also throw in Charlotte, and if you bring back the oval for Charlotte, make it a 500-mile season finale. That could be really good, especially with these cars. These cars do such a great job on the mile-and-a-half package. I don't know what it is, but they need to make sure they keep that and not don't screw with that when they're trying to fix other things.
Yeah, Daytona could do it. If I remember correctly, Atlanta used to be the last race at one time.
Atlanta, when they had without the tri-oval area, dogleg.
So the way Atlanta races now, that could be a very interesting last final race. So I don't disagree with changing it up.
Yeah, like I said, every year maybe would be a stretch, but maybe every other year would be nice. I mean, I always liked it in Homestead. I don't think there was an issue with that. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. It's again in Phoenix again next year. I think they do it a year-to-year type of contract. Let's get into the Truck Series, the last of the NASCAR Series where the champion was crowned. Ty Majeski got the he did a shoey in victory lane, if you saw that. So and he's not.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
no,
he's not even Australian, so that was weird. But that was pretty close between the final four, and it was another good race and unpredictable at the end. We thought Enfinger had a chance to get that win. He was close. He was in the running, but Majeski was just the fastest truck all day. Nobody was going to catch him. The restarts made it very, very interesting and all that. But I think it was the last few races in the Truck Series was pretty good.
Yeah, they were definitely good races. It's they're short races. They normally have plenty of cautions. I don't know. And we're sprint car fans, so we like the short races. I think shorter cup races are actually better. You don't get that 2.5 hours where they're just kind of running, just to get to the end. Where you need something to make every lap matter.
Yeah. It was kind of a crash fest at the beginning of the year, and I think they had enough bye weeks, I guess, to fix some of their mistakes and get people in the right positions where they should be racing. And it ended up being we're always critical on the Truck Series because they tend to always crash. But again, the last few races they were pretty solid, and hopefully that's a look ahead to the next season where they won't crash every other mile, and it'll actually add more excitement to the races. So let's give some bold predictions in the NASCAR Series, and then we'll go over NHRA stuff coming up. So breaking news this week, though, RFK Racing announced they will go to a third team. Ryan Preece will man that car, and Riley Herbst will be the third driver added to the 2311 camp. In the Cup Series. And so my Cup Series is sponsored by Monster. The same paint scheme, everything. They can't figure that one out. Just change it up slightly, Monster. Like, come on now. Here's my bold prediction for the Cup Series. Riley Herbst will not only win Rookie of the Year next year, but he will win multiple races for the 2311 camp. I think he's a very good driver. He's shown that he can race with anybody in the Xfinity Series. And I expect pretty good things out of him.
I think he's an underrated driver. He seems to kind of slip right under the radar there. You don't really think about Riley Herbst that much.
Mm-hmm. And another bold prediction for the Cup Series as a season. Just a fun bold topic here. Ford finished 1-2 in the championship this year. My bold prediction is that no Ford will make the championship next year.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I think you'll see Toyotas and Chevys kind of catch up in the long run. I think you'll see multiple Hendrick drivers. It could be a couple Hendrick, couple Joe Gibbs meeting up in the season finale. So we'll see how that all plays out. Do you have any bold prediction for the Cup Series particularly?
Yeah, so off of your last bowl was this stupid camera. There we go. Off of your last bowl position, I'm going to be the exact opposite. Team Penske wins a third straight Cup championship. I don't know which. I'm going to say 2 drivers. I know they have 3.
Oh, you don't think Cindric's going to win the championship?
No, I do not think they're going to win. Really bold prediction is the race they have. Where are they going? Mexico City this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be such a big hit. Bristol loses one race and they're going to move it to another country because Bristol does not get the people anymore.
Yeah, TV ratings are that's going to be the factor though. That's going to be what comes in. That's a good bold prediction. I'm just trying to think of tracks that could lose another race. Yeah.
Well, Richmond already lost one, and that goes back. You know what? Fill the damn seats. Sell $20 ticket. You know, you bring a family of 4, you're already $100 in the hole. They're going to buy hot dogs. They're going to buy sodas. They're going to buy beer. They're going to buy souvenirs.
Again, these.
Put the people in those seats.
It's not, I guess, not technically privately owned, but I guess these more traditional smaller town tracks, they seem to be doing it right with the prices. Like I said, Martinsville, it's $2 to get a hot dog. It was $40 for me and Chandler to get in, and it was. I mean, the most we spent was on the headphones, and that was definitely worth it. If you have a little one, they definitely would love headphones. Just letting anybody know that, 100% worth it to have them, especially the ones where you could talk to each other. He loved that. Thought he was cool. But that's that's why I'm really high on Martinsville, and it's an easy drive for me. It's right down like an hour and a half to get up to it. It's an easy drive for me. So that wouldn't surprise me. Mexico City, I think, will be a pretty big hit. I think so. They love the racing down that way. I think Suarez will have quite a camp down there in his garage. I think there will be a lot of Suarez fans for that race. So a bold prediction I have in Xfinity. So Junior Motorsports has got a couple new drivers next year, as everybody knows. I think the one that's going to shine is Connor Zilisch. I think he will get a couple wins, and I think he will make the championship 4 next year.
Okay, I don't disagree with that one. I didn't really come up with any Xfinity or Truck Bowl predictions, so I was just kind of.
I think between Connor and Carson, I think you'll see. I think you'll see some good racing out of Junior Motorsports, and I think Allgaier will be a great mentor for those drivers. And
I think so. I think that's pretty smart.
And I know raw talent when I see it, and those two have it. And I expect Corey Day to be making his way into the Truck Series a little bit next year. I don't have any bold predictions for him for the Truck Series, but I expect him to get a couple more rides. Wouldn't it surprise me if he competes for wins next year on the rides he's given?
Yeah.
My truck bold prediction is a driver who he was kind of under the radar during the summertime and then finally built his momentum back up towards the playoffs. I've got Roger Carruth making the championship 4 next year.
Okay.
Started off strong. He fell off the summer.
It's a good truck. He's constantly. He's usually up front. Usually something usually happens during the race, whether or not. But the truck's fast. He's a good driver.
Usually some pit road errors have cost him some good finishes. Getting caught up in some wrecks that happen, but he made a strong run to possibly make. It would have been tough for. He would have had to win at Martinsville to make the championship 4, but he had a shot. He made it into the round of 8. So don't count him out to make the championship 4. Um, I think that does it for NASCAR this year. Let's dive into NHRA. They just crowned their 4 champions, so we'll get the champions out of the way that everybody expected. We knew Austin Prock was going to win. He clinched it qualifying night on Saturday night. He clinched the Funny Car Championship. Gage Herrera took 2 round wins, I believe, for him to officially clinch it, maybe just 1. And in Top Fuel, another fan favorite in motorsports getting a championship, Antron Brown gets a championship, another championship. I think it's his 4th Top Fuel championship. So good on Antron. Yeah. A lot of people counted him out, and I saw he was within 50 points. Like he gets a couple round wins. And Justin Ashley loses, and that's what happens. And that's what actually happened on Sunday. So that was really cool to see. And the best race and the most excitement was Greg Anderson was going head to head to win the championship against his teammate, and ends up getting the win in the Pro Stock series. So we didn't even think Greg Anderson was even in it to win.
I didn't think it was anywhere near that close.
And all of a sudden, it came down to that. That's why they saved the best for last, I guess. So. That was really good drag racing this weekend. You saw some records being broke. It was the fastest time of the year and the 3rd or 4th fastest ever in funny car competition was Austin Prock. That thing, it was 3:41. It went down the track. That was a round 1. It went, and that's fast.
Crazy fast.
Yeah, that's fast. So. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the NHRA season as they wrapped up? Again, I think it was one of their better seasons with how good the competition was.
Yeah, it was, it was surprisingly very equal. You didn't really know who was going to win. Last couple of seasons, you maybe had 1 or 2 guys in Top Fuel, maybe 1 or 2 in the funny car that could probably win. And Pro Stock was probably even more separated. Now there's top half of the field. Anyone has a good, and the nitro cars they're either going to go down the track or they're not. But it seems to be more of them are getting a handle on that more consistently. And the Pro Stock cars is actually quite a bit. We have the Quadras, they're about the only ones that run Mustangs. They've really picked up their speed. Wouldn't surprise me to see them all of a sudden get a couple wins coming up here.
Yeah.
But the motorcycles, I don't know what's going on with that.
There's a new fuel being added.
I don't understand the rules on that.
Yeah, there's a new fuel being introduced next year, and a lot of the drivers are really excited. They're really excited about it. I supposedly it's supposed, I guess, maybe level the playing field a little bit more. That way, I guess Gage doesn't run away with the championship again next year. I don't really know. Hopefully, we can get one of the motorcycles drivers on here in the off season for the bonus episode. Talk to her about that. She would probably know a little bit more than we would on it.
Yeah.
Now
sure.
I do have some bold predictions in NHRA. So in my motorcycle bold prediction, I have Matt Smith is going to dethrone Gage Herrera, win the championship next year. The way he finished strong the last, I would say, 4 or 5 races. Yeah, I think he's got a good shot. That team was clicking towards the end, and getting that final Wally at the end. That could build momentum into next season.
Yeah, I think they're going to change. One thing about NHRA, they do try to change things up for parity. I think you're going to see probably hanging some weight on those Suzukis, make them a little bit slower.
Yeah,
we'll see. And like you said, that fuel could be the curveball in that thing. So
and they did that with the Harleys back, a decade or so ago, to make it a lot, make it a lot better for competition. Now, my bold prediction, another bold prediction I have, this one comes in Top Fuel. I have Tony Stewart will get his first win next year.
Okay. I don't know how bold that is. I was surprised he didn't get one this year.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm just kind of throwing it out there, but I feel like it's a good bold one. I also have Brittany Force is going to make a solid championship run, getting the great runs the last bit of the season, builds momentum up for next year, and I don't think you'll see John back in it at the very least next year or ever again. I think that adds to a little bit fuel to the fire. There was a lot of distractions, obviously, when his health took a scare and probably took Brittany's mind off the racetrack a little bit. I think getting back into it, seeing John back on the track, she ran a lot better. Expect her to be in contention to win that championship next year.
Yep, could be.
And I also have, this isn't really, maybe not that bold, but I have Austin Prock going back-to-back championship wins.
So in mine, I think you're going to see John Force make one pass in the funny car and call it quits. I think he's going to have it to where that's not going to beat him, and he's going to go out on his own term. It may be a test session. I don't think it's going to be in an actual race, but I think he's going to get back in it and make one run. I had the Matt Smith. Oh, this stupid camera. There we go.
It's making
Matt
it. They can
Smith.
make it.
Yeah, Matt Smith beating Gage Herrera again. And I think I'm not even sure the Gage Herrera even runs second next year. I think you might see
His team?
those B twins step up, like maybe Hector Arana Jr.
Could be.
pop up in there.
Could be.
And my big bold prediction: Courtney Force comes back to race funny car next
Yeah,
year.
you've been talking to me about that last couple of weeks when we've been texting and everything. We actually talked about that this past weekend. Yeah, that would be really cool. That would be the fans would be pretty excited about that. It would be cool to see Brittany and Courtney race together, like Courtney goes up to Top Fuel or something. That'd be cool. But Courtney would take over for John.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I know Jack Beckman would like to stay in that car.
If Courtney wants back, John's going to let Courtney take over.
Yeah. If Courtney doesn't come back, and I think Beckman gets back in that car again next year, which would be cool. I like Jack Beckman.
Oh yeah, either
Seems
either
to
one.
be,
Yeah.
nice guy.
Oh yeah, and did Courtney ever win a championship in Top Fuel? I mean, in Funny Car.
I don't think so.
I know she has some wins and everything. She was
Yeah,
always
she's got some
solid.
wins, sure.
We'll see. I know there's always been talk about her coming back, so we will definitely see about that. All right, let's get into dirt racing. Finish it off this year. Talk about what we can see in 2025. Before the final race of the season even started, David Gravel clinched the championship in World of Outlaws. I mean, we expected that. We've been calling that pretty much all year since the summertime. That we always said whoever makes it through the summer is going to end up likely winning the championship. That's where it gets the hardest, is that summer stretch between July and August where all of that racing happens. Make it through that, you're very likely going to win the championship. Gravel kept around 100-point lead the entire year. Never had any bad luck. His bad luck, he ended up still top 10 when they had to rebuild a whole car. So, I mean, hats off to David Gravel. That crew was amazing. He was driving very aggressively but very smart. Never put anybody into the fence. He had some things that he would shove them out of the way, but nothing too dirty. I mean, it's World of Outlaws going for the championship. What do you expect? I think there's obviously he's going to be the championship favorite to win it back-to-back years going into next year. But I think there's some things to look forward to for 2025. There was a lot of good racing in World of Outlaws this year.
Yeah. I don't know if it was, Hoosier came in with that right rear tire that you could actually reverse it. You can run it both ways, so, maybe get a couple races of it out of it. It had a stiffer sidewall, and I think it maybe unhooked the cars just a little bit, and I do think it made the racing better. I don't know how many races we saw come down to a last lap pass, last corner pass, or even a couple laps to go. So it's like, the racing was really good. The biggest thing, if you try to, and we're just watching most of the time we're just watching the highlights, so it makes it nice. But trying to watch a whole outlaw show, if they don't have a support class, it's not so bad. You get it done, a couple hours. But these tracks just want to. And I get it. You got to pay the outlaw purse, so they're going to bring in all these.
Yeah, I mean it drags
Well,
on.
it's-
Yeah, the days are going to drag on.
You can't, and NHRA's bad at on their TV schedule. You get those races down to a 2-hour time limit in general. I think you're going to get a lot more viewership on that.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. I forget what race it was. I don't know if it was a high limit or an outlaw race. Like 9:30 at night, it was done. I was like, sweet. Even I can stay up usually till 9:30.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens. So here's my bold prediction for the World of Outlaws in 2025. There won't be a repeat winner champion. Buddy Kofoid's going to win the championship.
Okay.
He was so good towards the end of the year. It was just too little too late, but those Toyotas had something going. I've been saying it for quite some time. I would not be shocked. It might not be that bold, but I really think he's in contention to go for the championship next year. I think the Toyotas will be great. I think you'll see McFadden look great in the High Limit Series again next year in contention for that championship. I think it will. I think it's going to be an exciting year. But my early pick is Buddy Kofoid to win the championship. I'm already making a championship prediction for that. Why not? Usually save that for the first episode of the new season. But that's my bold pick for World of Outlaws.
Yeah, I'm close. I have Carson Macedo actually edging David Gravel this time.
I could see
But
that too.
I think you're going to see more Toyota cars running next year. I know there was some issues this year of being able to get parts on anything. I know Toyota was supposed to get an engine in the 69K. I think they do get that one for next year at some point.
As much
If
as
they're smart, there's nobody better than Dad, working with that engine on how to get it tuned and reliable and drivable.
yeah,
Because Buddy Kofoid can drive that car does not mean Logan Wagner or Darren Pittman's going to be able to like that same type of thing. So getting a different perspective on not an outlaw driver where they're just stomping steer the whole time around.
I would really like to see how Pittman could handle the Toyota specifically. As good as he was racing last year, I think his perspective, as long as he's been in the sport, that would go a long way for them adding some data that they could have for Logan and anybody else they have jump into the car. Hats off to Ryan Smith setting a track record at Susky, or BAPS, whatever you want to call it. It was in the 14.4s, I think, or something like that. New track record at that track. So if anybody knows it, either as Susquehanna Speedway Park or as BAPS, whatever it is now. So it looks like he had bad luck on the draw, like every single one of the Browns drivers has. It's just normal.
Yeah, that's just how it goes.
Yeah. All right. So High Limit, it's already had a champion for a while. We already talked about that, but I do have a bold prediction at least next year. This is already a championship prediction. Why not? So we came down to Tyler Courtney and Brad Sweet. Brad Sweet ran away with it. Likely Brad Sweet's probably going to win the championship again. It's going to be hard to dethrone him with as much experience and how just consistent that team is throughout the year. I'd be shocked if he doesn't win the championship. But here's my bold one. Brent Marks is going to win the championship.
Oh, that is a bold one.
He was racing. He had a lot of good races. The races he didn't run well usually is because of some sort of wreck or flat. But yeah, I think that's probably the boldest of all of them that I have.
Okay, that's cool. So I'm on the same page, but I have Sunshine winning the championship next year. And the other bold position or prediction Casey Kane gets a win next year.
That'd be cool.
He hired my buddy Lee Stauffer, and Lee made that car all of a sudden a contender. I mean, Casey went from a lap car to running solid top fives. Casey is going to get, if he keeps Lee, he's going to get a win next year.
That's awesome. And maybe we'll see if we can, if you have some connections, try to get Lee on here in the off season. We'll see what happens. That would definitely be awesome to see. Well, that's the season finale. We're going to work on some bonus episodes throughout the off season before we.
I got an IndyCar prediction.
Oh well, shit. Well, no, okay. Go ahead.
Kyle Larson finishes top 5 at Indy and Charlotte.
Is that
Possibly a win in one of those races.
Is that because we're not going to it? Likely.
I think he's got that one race under his belt now. He knows what to expect. I think you're going to see him race a little more aggressive this time.
Well, yeah, actually. Well, let me throw an IndyCar one in there too, since you had to do it.
Oh, I do have 2 of them.
Oh well, shit.
Colton Herta wins the title.
Well, here's my title. Scott Dixon gets another,
Okay.
and that would be number 7. I think he's got 6. It seems like 7 is where everything is in motorsports.
It seems that way, unless you're like Steve Kinzer or Donnie Shaw.
Yeah, well, that's different. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that does it for the season finale. We're going to work on trying to get some guests, some bonus episodes out to you guys throughout the off season. Share it. See if we can get some guests. We got some ideas. I'm messaging some people around and see if we can get some fun ones on here. Talk about the upcoming season and what to expect about out of a lot of things. So make sure you guys share it, like, subscribe, follow anywhere you get your podcast. Make sure you follow it on YouTube and share it on X as well, as this is also streaming on X. I like to cross stream between X and YouTube. X seems to do a pretty good job of getting things out there as well. So, well, until at least the bonus episode, we'll see you guys in the new season.
Yep. Anybody watching, if you're involved with the race team, talk to your car owner, talk to your driver, your crew chief. We'll get them all at one time. We love to hear the racing stories from especially the people we don't know personally. So it's all new to all of us hearing it. So that's cool. We'd love to have you on. Don't cost nothing. Free advertising for your sponsors.
Yeah.
Get a hold of us on any of the platforms, and we'll be in contact. It's very simple. We just use Skype, so it's
it's convenient for everybody. Yeah, convenient for everybody. So, all right, we'll get it out there, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Bye, everybody.